Okay, so what's the dirt on McMillans Track? So McMillans Track starts at Kabungra, which is near Omeo, out of Omeo, between Omeo and Dinner Plain. You can access that with a bus occasionally, but I don't think it runs every day. And the other end of the track, it finishes at Woods Point. And that's a once a week bus into Mansfield. It's a Tuesday or a Thursday. Check online. Thursday, Sam's mouthing at me. The track's about 210 Ks. I did it in 9 days on this walk. Probably the sweet spot's probably 11 days. I went a little bit harder towards the end just to avoid some of the really hot weather that was coming through. But you know, some people would probably crunch it out in 7, and some people might take 2 weeks. It's up to you a little bit. Just watch the videos, have a look at the terrain, and work out a plan. Food drop wise, on this time I decided to do one food drop. So I placed some food bins in at Breakfast Creek in the scrub there. Just because I knew I'd be doing it I was thinking I was going to do it in 10 days, but I did it in 9. It just wasn't worth the driving to put in 2 drops. So I carried 6. I ended up carrying 6 days and 3 days worth of food. The other option is, as it gets drier, is to do a food drop at Volkswagen Camp up on the Moroka Road. And you put some water up there because water was getting a bit scarce when I went through. And then do another food drop. So if you're doing 2 food drops, one at Volkswagen Camp and then one over near Rump Flats kind of area, and that'd split it into thirds, kind of. That's another option. Like, there's a bit of driving to do that, but it's not too bad. So McMillans Track is similar in a way to the Australian Alps walking track in that it crosses the Alps. The track standard is a little bit like the Australian Alps walking track in that some sections are very rough. Maybe it could even potentially be rougher than the Australian Alps walking track in spots. But there's probably not quite as much climbing per kilometre as the Australian Alps walking track. I mean, I'm making up, I'm just pulling those figures out the top of my head, but it's the way it felt to me. Obviously the climbing I was doing per day was affected by the distances I was walking. If you're doing a 28k a day, you're going to be climbing 1,000 metres most days. So, you know, if you're not going to do such big days, you probably won't have to worry about climbing 1,000 metres. The track itself, like the Australian Alps walking track, it varies with everything from off track to four-wheel drive track and dirt roads. I'm trying to think if there's any bitumen roads. I don't think there's any, unlike the Australian Alps walk track, there's no bitumen roads, but there's quite a few four-wheel drive tracks and dirt roads to walk on. There's also some untracked sections, so it's very variable. The other thing you need specifically for McMillans, you've got to be okay at crossing rivers. Now, on this one in February, the rivers were fairly low, and the heat was an issue, but so the rivers were a welcome respite actually, where I could go for a swim or soak in the rivers. My first attempt, where I dropped my phone back in, I think it was November, the rivers were very, very marginal. Some of them crossing them, they were bordering on dangerous. So, whereas the Australian Alps can be difficult, you know, you're up on the ridges and it's difficult to find water. Sometimes on McMillans, the water can be a problem just getting through it. Although having said that, there are a couple of dry sections on McMillans. That section up to Moroka Road from the Moroka, that's getting pretty dry around Volkswagen Camp. And the other long dry section was the section from Rump Flats down to Black River. I found only one of the water sources. I think Chapman's got the Chapmans have about 3 or 4 in their book. Only one of them had any water, and I had to look for it. There is the old Barclay Logging Road, Middle Ridge Road, over towards Rumpf Saddle. There would probably be water on that, but it's off the track a little bit. I didn't go out there. So yeah, you need gaiters for this walk or long pants. There's a lot of blackberries down by the rivers in spots. So if you don't have gaiters or long pants, like canvas gaiters, not dirty girls, you're gonna get your legs ripped up for sure with the blackberries. So definitely recommend canvas gaiters, or at the very least, long walking pants. As far as communications go, I mean, I have my InReach. There's not a lot of, compared to the Alpine track, there's not a lot of mobile service on McMillans Track because it stays largely away from the ski resorts. So over the days, I mean, this list isn't definitive, but this is what I can remember off the top of my head. I had service at Lanky Plain Hut on the first night. I didn't get service again until I got over near the Wonnangatta at Eagle Vale. Just as I was dropping down to the Wonnangatta, you go past a farm. As I was dropping down past some open farmland, as I was dropping past the farmland, I got enough signal to get on the emergency app. And then the next time was at Mount Arbuckle, which was a couple of days after that. But it's marginal until you get up high on the mountain. Next time after that was Mount Tambaritha, and then all the way over to Shillinglaw. Now Shillinglaw is really fleeting. It's where you join up with the AAWT. There's just a little, maybe 50-metre spot where you can get some service there. Champion Spur Track as I climbed out of Black River. So along the top of Champion Spur Track had some mobile service. I was able to ring Sam and just let her know that I was on my way and I'd be out that afternoon. And then Johnson's Hill, just before I dropped down to Woods Point, had service. And there's service in Woods Point as well. Okay, so look, they're the logistics off the top of my head. If there's any other questions, just stick them in the comments and I'll try and answer them. It's definitely a rugged walk, as you probably saw from the videos. It's an adventurous walk, but it's a good walk. And it's a walk you won't be battling the crowds, that's for sure. So I'd highly recommend it. All right, I hope this video's been useful. I'll catch you on the next one.